plateaus, GLP, weight loss, diets. Um, Please keep in mind that all of this is for research. I'm not giving medical advice. This is educational based. Take what you can, seek medical advice. Sorry, guys, for repeating that. Um, so we're going to talk about what a stall versus a plateau is. And we want to get the definitions straight on this one. We really need to. A stall, it's a short-term pause. It's your body, it's recalibrating and it's healing and it's adjusting. Stalls are going to be normal. Short term is usually a couple weeks or so. Um, you might even see yourself kind of go like this during a short-term stall. And that's a very natural thing. So don't freak out if the scale doesn't move every day or every week. That is 100% normal in any type of a weight loss situation, whether it is the medications, it is pure diet and exercise, or it is weight loss surgery. This is something that is very, very normal. A plateau is longer, much more stubborn, and your body has fully adapted to the pattern that you've been giving it. So that's something that we want to think about. We are in a pattern, and our body is getting used to it. Um, and a plateau means that something in your routine is going to need to change. I don't want to split my screen. Thank you. Um, So a stall is like your body is whispering, "Hey, something's kind of off." A plateau, your body is saying, "Hey, I've adapted to what you're doing, and we're not going to go anywhere until you adjust something." So let's, let's remember that those are two very different things, and knowing that difference is the biggest part of the battle. The number one cause of stalls in the GLP world is that you are under eating. You have to remember that our food is our fuel. We want to be putting premium fuel into our gas tank. That's going to be very important. The truth is, a lot of people, they just don't want to hear it. Most stalls on the GLP meds are because the medication um, has not stopped working. It's not that. It's because you are barely clearing 800 calories a day. Keeping a log of what you eat, an accurate log, is really, really important. GLP meds, they suppress the appetite. That's their job. But your metabolism still needs fuel to function. And if you find that you are hungry as can be on these GLP meds, there's a good chance you're not hitting enough calories. So really pay attention to the amount of calories you're intaking because that's going to make a huge difference. Um, Remember that metabolism needs fuel. If you don't, it's going to shut down. When you're chronically undereat, your body will hit the brakes. Your metabolism drops, your hormones will shift, muscles will break down, bone density. Ladies, your bone density takes a hit. Men too, but women, especially as we are reaching the um, menopausal stages in our life, that is the last thing you want. Your daily energy output, it's going to tank, and your fat loss, it slows to a crawl. Your body is not fighting you, it's protecting you, and it thinks it's in a famine. It thinks you are starving it and there's no food to be had. So, again, that log. Um, start a food log. There's some great apps for that. And I actually am hoping that within this app that is being built in the near future that I've been giving a lot of input to, if they're going to be able to work that in as well. It's going to be able to track peptides. It's going to be able to track all kinds of things, and it might, if he can get it in there, be able to track a food log. Um, but definitely log your food. It's going to make a huge difference. You need to eat at least 800 calories. You have to eat that much. Sometimes it's hard, and I get it. People think that fat loss means eat as little as possible. No, fat loss is eat enough to keep your metabolism alive. Create a reasonable deficit, not a starving gap. You are not on the anorexic protocol. When you undereat long enough, your body it reduces the basal metabolic rate. That is the rate that you burn when you are doing nothing at um, all of your unconscious daily movement, blinking of your eyes, all of that kind of stuff. That's actually called NEAT, NEAT, um, and that's going to reduce. Workout intensity is not going to be as good. Your hormonal output is going to take a dive. Your muscle retention is going to get hurt. All of that lowers your TDEE. Um, TDEE, total daily energy expenditure. What you must know about your TDEE and what it actually means. It's simply the total number of calories your body burns over a whole 24-hour period. Think of it as your daily fuel budget. This is how much gas you need to make it through the day. Um, so it's made up of four basic pieces: your basic metabolic rate, your BMR, the energy it takes to keep you alive, your heart, your lungs, your brain, your hormones. The NEAT, the non-exercise movement, walking around, cleaning, fidgeting, just the basic stuff that you don't think about. This is not including if you do a 30-minute brisk walk. It is not including if you go to the gym. This is just your non-exercise movement. Then there's your exercise, your workout, your steps, every intentional movement. You're riding a bike. You're doing squats, all of the stuff that is actually working out. That is your exercise. Then there's your thermic effect of food, which is TEF. Yep, food itself requires energy to digest. So that's another thing that we are expending calories on while we're eating. All of these together are going to make the TDEE. That's your important number and why it matters. On GLP-1 meds, hunger cues, they're not reliable. And you might feel fine at 600 calories, and your body is absolutely not okay on 600 calories. If you don't know what your TDEE is, um, you don't know whether or not you're at a healthy deficit. You can't tell the difference between a stall and the starvation mode. You can't fix a plateau, you can't dose your medication responsibly, and you can't protect your muscle or metabolism. TDE calculator, and there's a plethora of them out there. And some of us have watches that will tell you what your daily burn is. Same thing. That's a great thing to have if you have an Apple Watch, a Samsung Watch, a Fitbit. That's going to tell you. If you don't have one, you're going to have to get on and get a calculator and figure it out. But the calculator gives you the real numbers so you don't have to guess. Um, you can do, there's a calculator. Let's see if I can't get this to copy into here, paste. Let's see if this works. I have not put a link in here before. All right, that's the calculator for your TDEE, where you enter your stats, the real stats, don't fib to it. And you recalculate it every 10 to 15 pounds. So if you've lost 10 to 15 pounds, you need to get in there and recalculate it. If you've gained 10 pounds because you overate for Thanksgiving and you're kind of on a roll with the whole cookies that come out during this time of year and all that stuff, remember to recalculate it about every 10 to 15. All right, we ready to talk about breaking a stall without raising your dose or adding other peptides? Um, First, got to check those calories. Make sure you've got enough in your body. I know this sounds counterintuitive to what everybody thinks, but start with that. Take a good look at what you're eating. If you are eating enough, try to shake up your routine. Your body, it's going to adapt fast. And you might need to change your meal schedule, switching breakfast to a later start, changing your protein distribution, adding a refeed day, um, a little bit more light resistance training, all of these things. Just shake up that routine. When I stall, I will switch which is my largest meal of the day, whether I do it at lunch or at breakfast, and I always try to avoid the dinner. at dinner is my lightest. A lot of people think, oh, I should start my day with just a cup of coffee and, a protein shake. That's not enough to get you through your day. You get through the whole day, and by nighttime, you're starving. So try to shake that up a little bit. Or snack throughout the day with a cutoff of about, 2:30, 3 o'clock, have a dinner, and then that's it after dinner. Those are all ways that you can shift it up. Um, they're little shifts that tells your body we're not in a famine and it's all right. Let's go with this. I'm not starving. We're good to go. Track your intake, not for the perfection, but to understand it. Um, I know that at one time, some of those food apps, and I'm trying to remember the one that had the little man on it and I can't remember the name of it. It used to be free and now you have to pay for it. TDEE is not the same as your BMR. It includes your basal metabolic rate. The basal metabolic rate is the beginning of part of that calculation. It is everything you burn through the day, not just one piece of it. So that is one of the four that's in there. Um, okay, so let me get back to my notes here. So you're going to track your intake. Um, the data is going to give you some solutions. It's also going to tell you what you're eating. Sometimes you don't realize what you're eating. I use my food scale, especially when I feel off track. I get back on it and I use my food scale. And you don't always think about, okay, I think this is about a serving of chicken. And sometimes it's two servings of chicken or a serving and a half. Or a rice. Everybody thinks that all of us have been to the Chinese food place and they give you this heaping cup of rice. A real serving of rice is a quarter cup. That's it. So paying attention to those little things and filling up on the proteins and different proteins, shake up your proteins. um, we try to incorporate all the different proteins throughout the week. We do fish, we do chicken, we do pork, we do beef. um, so we try to shake it up. So that way your body doesn't kind of feel like it's stuck in a rut, and therefore it gets into complaint, it just being compliant with wherever it's at. Um, if you can't meet your nutritional needs on your current dose, then your dose may actually be too high. Um, that is something to take seriously. A lot of us just keep upping doses or adding. They want to add cagri, they want to add semaglutide to our TERS, or maybe we're going to add Retta to this. All of that comes into play. And Retta itself, it ramps up that metabolism, which then increases the TDEE. So everything that you're expending is now bumped up, and you're still not eating enough, and you're doing your body a, a disservice, and you're doing your overall health a disservice. So it's really important to pay attention to how many calories um, you are taking in, and making sure that you're at a good deficit, a healthy deficit. um, just don't keep climbing the dose until you know for a fact, okay, I'm in a good healthy deficit and I'm still plateaued and I'm starving and I want to eat the whole refrigerator every day, 24/7. Then it might be time to increase it. Again, look at what you're eating, take that food log, take the steps close. We do not have to increase every month. You absolutely don't. It is not necessary. Because more medications won't fix undereating, and stacking peptides are not going to fix a starved metabolism. It's just not going to happen. Um, Visceral fat will go down if you're doing it properly. And I know Tessa is great for visceral fat. And if you're getting your basic needs with calories and you want to add it, that's fine. But don't just add it before looking at everything else. So always look at the whole picture. I need you guys to look at the entirety of your weight loss picture in this. Um, so what happens when you actually fuel your body? When you eat enough, the fat loss becomes consistent. Your metabolism, it's going to stay active. Your bones stay supported. Your hormones stay balanced. Your hair and energy will actually improve. A lot of us talk about hair loss. And your results, they'll become more sustainable. We do not need to lose 10 pounds a week. That's actually not very healthy. You want to lose somewhere between 1 and 3 pounds a week for good, healthy longevity and weight loss. Um, Not eating enough is the fastest way to make a plateau. Fueling your body is the fastest way to break it. I know it sounds backwards, but it is 100% scientifically proven across the board. It is one of the biggest things that dietitians talk about, that weight loss clinics talk about. If any of you guys have ever had the bariatric surgery, and this is now an add on to that, or maybe you started off thinking you were going to do it and you started the program, this is discussed. All right, Scott, you just did your TDEE calculation for maintenance. Okay, that's for maintenance. So that's once you've lost everything. So you want to be in a calorie deficit from that. That's where your maintenance, that is to stay exactly where you're at. That is using all your activity. And we can talk about that in a few minutes. Um, how to know if you're eating under 1,200 calories. You're under 80 to 100 grams of protein. You're just not hungry every day. You're feeling cold all the time. Your hair is shedding away. You don't have a whole lot of energy. Two shakes and a coffee equals a meal. You're stalled for weeks. You increased your dose without tracking, and you're losing muscle tone. Um, all of these, if these are resonating, you're not stalled, you're underfueled. And I want you guys to think about, everybody talks about Ozempic face. That is losing muscle tone. Everybody talks about, and I'm going to talk about feeling cold. I was 365 pounds at my highest, give or take a few. But I think when I stepped on the official scale in 2015 at Duke University's metabolic weight loss clinic, um, I think it was right in there. And I've obviously shedded a whole bunch of it. I would have filled this chair that I'm sitting in without a doubt. Like I wouldn't have been able to stick my butt in it. Um, So now I do get cold, but I've also lost all my insulation. So as you lose fat, you also lose a lot of insulation. Um, by feeling cold all the time, I mean, it is 95 degrees and you want to put on a long sleeve shirt. You are cold at night, you want to pile on the blankets in the middle of summer. That's cold. That's different. You can't wear your shorts and t-shirts. You are cold from the inside going out, not the outside going in. Two very different things. Um, so you need to take a good look at how you're feeling. Log it, write it down. Absolutely 100% write it down. Um, you can't rush your biology. GLP meds were not designed to make you starve. They're not meant for an anorexic protocol. They were designed to help you break your overeating cycles. That is their design. Your job is to eat enough to know your total daily expenditures, to track realistically, use the lowest effective dose, protect that metabolism because it's really hard to fix once you break it. And if you are a Gen Xer, we were very good at breaking our metabolism with all the fad diets. So we have some big whammies against us. I've done them all, the yo-yo diets, you name it. Um, so protecting that metabolism is super, super important. Let your body burn the fat the way that it's built to do it. There is no version of long-term healthy fat loss with under eating that wins. It just doesn't. It doesn't happen. Um, Fuel your body, support your metabolism, and stop assuming that every pause requires a dose increase or a stack on. Go back to the basics. Take a real good look at what you're doing. Make sure you're eating enough. Always go back to the basics before you start moving into an increase. Um, so before we wrap up, um, just a couple things that I just want to remind you guys. follow the instructions on any form that you fill out very carefully. Mine is different than Joyous. Joyous does carry things that I do not. Capsules are her thing. I am not taking Bitcoin right now, but we are taking, if you're doing crypto, USDT, USDC, and PYUSD. If you have Venmo or you have if you have Venmo or you have PayPal, you have PYUSD. Very easy to use. Um, a couple other things to remind you to check out Agape Organics. She's got some really good skincare. Take care of your skin through this process because these meds dry out your skin. Help yourself with the elasticity of your skin. It's not going to get rid of this. This is extra skin, but it's going to help it. Um, Moisturize. We're in the middle of winter. Those of you guys that have forced heat, your skin is going to dry out. Please take care of it. It's your biggest organ you have, actually. She's got some really, really good products or some do-it-yourself stuff. Um, if you do order from Joyous, make sure you read her form very carefully. She does not use a live inventory. If you planning on placing something large order, reach out to her first. You have to reach out to her. Um, Mine is fairly live. Sometimes I have to go back in and tweak it because I always leave a little bit in reserve. Um, and then sometimes I forget that I've got it boxed up in reserve when I'm moving, and all of a sudden I'm unboxing and I find 12 Tessas from the batch I was like, thought I had it. I have several things in testing, so be watching for that. Um, and I think that's the biggest thing here that I think we've talked about most of it at this point. Again, just really quickly, your TDEE, which is your total daily energy expenditure, is your BMR. Scott, this one's for you. Your non-exercise activity, that's your NEAT, N-E-A-T. Your exercise and your thermic effect of food. All of those are what's going to do um, your total TDEE. So it's everything that you are burning through the day, 100%. Um, if people have questions, I mean, I know that I kind of went through this pretty fast, but let's ask some questions just in case I went too fast for you or you missed the beginning. And please ask. Nobody? Let's see here. I just I missed the beginning. Okay, Jess, I did record it. I can go back through it really, really quick. We were talking about metabolism. We're talking about stalls and plateaus and understanding that a stall, it's a short term and a plateau is longer. Um, a slow metabolism is, you know, stalls aren't the slow metabolism. It's not your meds aren't working. It's not a bad batch. It's not needing a higher dose. It's simply a possibility that you're not eating enough. You need to take notes. Um, the GLPs do suppress your appetite hugely, um, and your body doesn't like that. You need to eat. A lot of people on GLPs, and I was one of those. Um, I struggled to get 600 calories. I struggled. And it wasn't until I actually sat down and was looking at the food log and I was like, I am not eating enough. You need to be eating more than 800. You really, really do, preferably around 1,000 to 1,200 per day. Um, this is important. Your metabolism slows to protect you. It slows to protect your organs. Um, it's going to affect your hormones. It's going to affect your daily activity output. It's going to be able to, you're going to feel tired and then you're going to go, I need something because I'm just so tired all the time. You're probably not eating enough. And I'm not saying that Lipo C or some of these other things aren't great because they 100% are at helping you get through. My favorite is Superhuman. It gives me a nice smooth energy, but it doesn't make me it's smooth and it helps keep me focused through the day so I don't have to take a nap, which I guess I hit 50 and I thought 2 o'clock naps were the bomb. I felt like a toddler. But really, in all honesty, if you are 100% tired all the stinking time, there's such a good chance you do not have enough fuel in your tank. Um, it can affect your thyroid, and we don't want to do that. Obviously, we don't want to lose muscle, and we don't want to stop burning fat. Um, to me, the most important number isn't the one on the scale; it's the one on the tape measure. Um, which part, Scott? I'm sorry. Which part?
The one that you mentioned about neat
The neat. All right. Let me get
and
back in here.
and all and that
So
whole
the
list.
TDEE is what you're asking about,
Yeah, well,
right?
I understand what TDEE is now, but
Okay, so
everything that you added in
the
along
NEAT
with it.
is your non-exercise activity, the walking, the standing. If you're anything like me, you fidget all the time. I am constantly fidgeting my leg, I'm constantly wiggling my leg without thinking about it. That's not an exercise. That's not done on purpose. It's just what I do, but I'm burning calories when I do this fidget. Um, if you are brushing your teeth, you're burning calories. That's non-exercise activity. Emptying your dishwasher is non-exercise activity. Walking to the bathroom is non-exercise activity. All of this fits in that neat. Um, let me think. Walking to the car, driving your car. We're driving our car, especially if you're in a snowstorm like one of our gals is. Non-exercise activity. Anything that is not a purposeful exercise. Um, and I know that you do a lot of heavy lifting at work, Scott, because you've kind of talked about that. But anything that is routine that you do every day that is not a purposeful exercise, that's part of your NEAT. Um, which is kind of difficult to understand, and I understand that because you do a very, very physical job. Um, so I think that for you, when you're doing the whole thing, you really need to take a real good look at what you do on a daily basis in terms
Outside
of
of work.
outside of work, inside of work. Because even when you're at work, if it's something you're doing every day, that's not purposeful exercise. That's your daily activity, which is sounds so strangely bizarre. Going to the gym and lifting weights and pushing yourself, that is exercise. Um, doing resistance training of any kind where it's purposeful is considered exercise. You go and you swim laps. That's exercise. If you're just hanging out in the pool and treading water and talking to your friends, that's not exercise. You're just daily burning. Um, so purposeful activity versus this is my daily activities. It goes like, you know, every day I have to, well, not anymore, thank God, because all the kids are out of the house and I don't wash clothes every day. Doing the laundry, which was carrying the baskets to the laundry machine, doing the laundry, then going in and folding it. All of that burns energy. And those baskets, when you have boys, they get kind of heavy with all their sports gear and all that stuff. But I don't consider that exercise. It is not considered exercise. Um, that was part of my daily routines, if that makes sense. So it's like yours is kind of harder because of what you do being as physical. And I think all I know is that the UPS guy that came by the yesterday that I did a return and it was a heavy thing and he just picked it up like it was nothing and walked it out to the truck and I'm going, please don't hurt yourself. Please don't hurt yourself. It was heavy because I had to lift it. It was for me, that was lifting. For him, that was a daily activity. So there's a huge difference. I mean, he picked it up like it was water. That thing was, I don't know, close to 150, 160 pounds, which I know that especially during the holiday seasons, our UPS guys are doing this every day, all day long, but it's
I'm
not
there
a
6 days
workout.
a week.
Yeah. Um, you're asking me the difference between glutathione, MOTS-c, and NAD plus. They're all exceptionally different. Um, they're all glutathione I haven't dug too deep into yet. I know I should because I think it would benefit my husband, but he won't let me give him an intramuscular shot for anything. So we haven't deep dived into that personally. NAD plus, uh, for NAD, we're all born with natural NAD in our body. And as we age, it depletes, which is why you see the older generation feeling more tired, even if they're not dieting. That's part of our NAD being depleted. So it gives you an energy. If your NAD levels are at a good level, you are going to feel as good as if you were 20, 25, even 30, where you've got consistent energy. Um, Matzi, I've only dabbled in. I've not done a whole lot with it yet. I believe I did a write up, and if I didn't, I have one in the wings that if I haven't gotten it up, it's because I need to go back and double check it and push it against anything else that I can find research wise before I put it through the chat GPT to help me clean it up. Um, so anything that's not up there is because I just haven't finished my side of the research before I let ChatGPT clean up my misspellings and make it more presentable. Um, a lot of people use glutathione for different reasons. MOTS-c and SS31 are really good together. Um, and NAD plus, uh, I would say I think that's a great tool. I really, really do think it's a really good tool. I will say I am not a fan of the already buffered NAD. I would much rather add a small amount of sodium bicarbonate into it because once they buffer it for us in the powdered form, um, I think personally, and I'm trying to get some of the lab guys to kind of walk me through it a little bit further. But I think it's part of why the NAD can look so ugly. It's not that it's not good still. Um, the 132s, I don't think it is. Um, those were actually an excess run that I did not personally order, and I was owed a credit, and he popped those in a box for me, and I still went ahead and got it tested, and I didn't get very many. So sometimes I get a credit for, especially in my liquids, broken vials that cause a huge mess. I'm sure you can only imagine. Um, I've had where my fat blaster had about 3 kits, full kits broken up via various kits. I have to take them out, I gotta wash them, get all of everything off of it. Um, and so when that happens, when he has overruns, he will just gift me stuff, to make up for some of that loss. Um, so the what about 5-amino and also gluta can be sub-Q as well? Yeah, I know it can be, but I've heard that it works better that way. 5-amino 1-MQ is on my to-do list. I just got it in, and I am still doing a lot of research on it. The reason that I'm carrying it is because a lot of people asked for it. Um, both 5-amino and NAD are aminos and not peptides, like glutathione is not a peptide. Somebody asked me, and I don't know if she's in here, how come it doesn't test for purity on these? Some places do, some places don't. Jano kind of broke it down really, really well. You cannot test, and he does purity testing on peptides, which is what we all see. And he said, "That's an amino, and when you do a purity test on an amino, they're not it's not the same. It doesn't mean the same. People will get very confused. I don't do it because I do peptide purity. Um, and again, purity doesn't mean that it's dirty. It just means that the peptide chain has broken, and that's over that the what you're seeing in the impurities is the broken stuff in the fillers. Um, so it's kind of interesting when you see where if they were to run purity on aminos, it would not come out true. It would come out very low, which doesn't mean anything towards that because they're testing it for something, especially with buffered NAD. Um, the buffering's an impurity. There's a whole lot of other impurities in there to make it stable to get it so that we can handle it. IM for gluta is better as it decays rather quickly, and IM capsule causes fat absorption, but IM is quite, yes, that's what I've heard. I'm not all about IMing myself. Um, but I've heard that if you don't IM in your thigh, do not do an IM in your thigh. That's the worst place. I've heard that you're right in here or your bottom in your glute are the two best places, and I can't twist like that. Um, I suppose if I ever wanted it done, I would call one of my friends to come and do it. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else about the breaking a stall. Add a little bit more resistance training, and I'm going to talk about resistance training. People are lazy. We like to be lazy. We've had a long day at work, or you've had a long day with your kids, and it's finally quiet. Resistance training can be as simple as having two little dumbbells in your hand while you're watching TV and doing exercises. Get the resistant bands, put them around your ankles and do leg lifts while you're sitting there watching TV. I mean, it's little things. It's the little things that help keep your muscles going. All of that makes a difference. I know people that are very active in their jobs are like, I've already done a workout all day today. That's all I've done. You absolutely have. I am not denying I've seen it. My son's in a physical job. Um, he comes home, he's 21 years old. And I swear to God, he's like a 40-year-old man. He gets up at 5 in the morning, goes to work, comes home, eats dinner, takes a shower, goes to bed. This is a 21-year-old. I'm thinking, man, at 21, I was out partying. Um, So, you know, I know it's a little bit harder for those that are constantly physical, but find something if you can. If you have a YMCA or something that has a pool, that might help you feel better also, and just swim some laps. Water's great for natural resistance. Water aerobics is really good for that too. And it takes the pressure off your joints, off your knees, off your feet. It's actually a really, really good form. Just shake up your routine, shake it up. See if that can't break your stalls, your plateaus. Take measurements because your inches tell you so much more than the scale. Um, the scale tends to lie because you can get up in the morning and it says one thing, and if you become obsessed with the scale, by the end of the night, you're going to be 5 pounds heavier. So, but that tape measure doesn't lie, and the way your pants fit don't lie. And if your underwear fall off inside your pants, that's not lying to you. Um, so do pay attention to your inches, write them down. I think, in fact, I know, and I don't know where I tucked one of the books. But in the book that I have for your peptide tracker, there is a place in there where you can write down your inches. There is a place in there where you can track a whole lot of stuff. It's a great little book, and because I'm still getting organized in here, I'm trying to think where did I tuck those. I can't remember what box I put them in. I have not unpacked all of them yet. I have like 4 out somewhere, in case somebody orders one, but they're awesome. You get to track your peptides. You can write down what you bought, who you bought it from. You write down what you're taking, what your protocols are, what your stacks are, and when you do them. And again, protocols are individual. What you can find online, those are your base, but like any kind of anything, what Scott needs versus what I need versus what Rebecca needs versus what William needs, we all have different needs. Our bodies are different. Everybody's body is unique. Everybody's way of metabolizing is unique. Everything we do physically inside of our bodies is individual. So at the end of the day, you're going to need to figure out what your protocol is with whatever stacks you wish to research. That's something you need to figure out. Um, Eating enough calories, definitely eat enough calories. If you don't have a food scale, get a food scale. I They should be on sale. If they're not on sale yet, they will be because what is everybody's New Year's resolution? Everybody always says, "Oh, I'm gonna lose my last 10 pounds." All this diet stuff goes on sale. Watch for the food scales to go on sale. Get yourself a good one. There's some really, really good ones out there. Um, make sure that you're getting that 80 to 100 grams of protein. Try to eat enough calories. Figure out what that is. Um, it's gonna help you with everything, including feeling tired. It's going to help you with the hair shedding. It's going to help you with the muscle. It's going to help you with so many things. Um, Shake up your protein. Shake up your time of the day you eat your meals and what you're eating. Um, those are the things that are most important. That's the biggest thing. Um, the stall is going to happen to everyone and anyone. It just will. Plateaus happen to everyone. Neither of them means that you're failing. Neither of them means that your dose isn't high enough by itself. Um, so just remember that. You need your fuel, you need consistency, you need protein, you need time for recovery, you need movement, you need planned movement, and you need variety. Um, we are not wanting to do anorexic protocols. That does not help you. And that's really the biggest takeaway in all of this. 100% the biggest takeaway is make sure you're fueling. Make sure that you're getting enough protein. Make sure that you're getting enough water, keeping hydrated. Um, Not enough water can definitely slow things down too. So everything that you're intaking, always make those healthy choices. That's what the GLPs are meant to be there for. It's a tool in your toolbox. The rest is on us. And if anybody doesn't have any more questions, I said that backwards. If you don't have any more questions concerning this particular topic, let me know because at that point I can turn off the recording and we can just talk about whatever. But I'm trying to stay on topic for the most part for this one until I turn it off. Okay, let's say good night to everybody that has been watching the recording. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, we're always in the school classroom or in school. You can always ask away in there.